Are you planning on voting, and why or why not?
I would love to vote. I believe about a month or 2 months ago, I did have a conversation with the ambassador. We do have to have the identity card, if I'm not mistaken, as well as, which I don't. I don't have an Albanian ID, and that's on me.
Hmm.
But I would have loved to vote because I do follow the political situation back in Albania. I'm interested to know, and I've always been interested to know as to what's going on
Hmm.
since we're always there. So it impacts us, even though we're away from Albania, we live in Canada, it still impacts us there. I have family, or when I go there, or if I ever make a drastic move to Albania, if I ever.
And what about your friends, colleagues, family around you? Are any of them sort of signed up and ready to vote?
Absolutely. I do have family members here that will be voting. My mom, my dad, my in-laws will be voting as
Hmm.
well. So I do have colleagues, like I said, that are interested to know what's going on, and they're very much in touch. My husband is very passionate about Albania, so I think he'll be voting as well.
And actually, this is what I was going to ask. I think the diaspora should be able to vote. I always thought this should be. But there are people who say, well, if you left Albania, if you've been living outside of Albania for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, why should you have a say in the voting process? Myself, in the UK, it used to be you couldn't vote if you'd been outside of the country for a certain amount of time. They've changed that now, but I could never imagine voting there because I have no intention of ever going back. And I just wonder what your perspective on this is. If you've been outside of Albania for 30 years, should you be voting? Should there maybe be a cutoff point? What's your thinking behind this?
I I agree and I disagree, but I mostly believe that people should be able to vote. And I say that because there's a lot of successful Albanian business people, whether it is business women or businessmen outside of Albania. I know many successful Albanians in Canada, specifically in Ontario, that are constantly looking at how the political climate is in Albania. Perhaps they want to invest, perhaps they want to open up their own offices, their own businesses. So, although I do agree with what people say with respect to, well, you live outside, you shouldn't have a say in it. I also think that people like us, people that live abroad, that have built something in Canada, perhaps we come in with a fresh of breath air,
Hmm.
with a breath of fresh air, I should have said, and we can perhaps give some sort of advice or contribute or have different opinions or bring our own businesses. There are quite a lot of businesses that can be done abroad. I myself, perhaps, if the political situation is the right way, I can always consider opening up my own business or an office of my business in Tirana.
Hmm.
So there's always opportunity. So I think having that impact from outside of Albania is quite necessary.
Yeah.
So I think that people outside and abroad should definitely be able to vote or given that opportunity to vote.
I think the Albanian situation is a bit unique as well, in the fact that you have more Albanians living outside the country than inside. And I think the reason for that is not just, they don't want to live in Albania. Many of the people I know who live abroad, they want to come back, or they're kind of sad that they had to leave. But the economic situation, the political situation over the years has been such that they have had to leave. And, remittances are such a big part of the GDP as well. I think they definitely should have the right to partake in democracy like this.